on your globe. So you, so basically the shadows are going to curve. But no, they say that it's they say that it's trying to view the 3D world in 2 dimensions or some shit is the response they use.
What shadows? What shadows
Which
are you talking
kind of
about?
what
Shadows from what?
if you put a stick in the ground like to the right of the equator, right?
Uh huh.
And you measure the if a star could make a shadow, right? Then like the sun, or you could either use say if the star could make a shadow, or just do the sun 3 different times a year. It doesn't matter. So just say the stars can make a shadow. The stars to the right of the stick would make smiley face shadows. You could trace them out; they make smiley faces shadows. And then on to the left of the equator, they'd make a frown. They, and then at the equator they'd make a straight face. So you'd have so you got a divergence and convergence according to that.
Yeah, but you'll have to go far away. Like it's not like you'll just be standing on the equator. You go to the left a little bit, and you got a smiley face. You go to the right a little bit, and then you got something else. Like you got to go far. Got to go significantly up north to where your orientation is changing in relationship to that star. You just use the sun. The sun would be the best thing to use. Just use the sun. Like that's why I don't get like. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the whole thing. Like the sun is the thing that keeps me from the flat Earth the most because it makes no sense. Because if you in the north, you got the sun going in one direction, and you go to the south, the sun's setting in the opposite direction.
Yo, the
I think
sun
it's left.
actually kept me
Or-
from.
or-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was there.
The sun actually kept me from jumping right into this. And I'm like, yo, how the fuck does the sun set on a flat Earth? I'm like, that shit don't make no sense.
It's not even
But
the
then,
sunset for me. It's the
but then
direction that
people
it
did it
moves.
though. After that, though, people did it, and
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay, it can happen.
that reminds me,
Oh,
man.
I,
I was looking at I was looking at these videos, and to me, just magnification does it. You could use a Fresnel lens or a magnifying glass, but just magnification does it perfectly. And I was looking at these videos with the wind.
I think you cut out, Brian.
Yeah, I think you cut out. Maybe that's my cue to stream the video now. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. I was just talking about the sun. You good though?
He said, you don't want this smoke. All right, what's the topic? Die slow, put that on,
He's
maybe
here.
pause for a second. We're going to get something going here.
Yeah, Mikey's here to defend his claims. He can pick whichever one he wants to defend.
All right, yeah, we'll resume that later. But just so Pinky's understanding, I was talking about 0 point energy, i.e. the ether.
Yeah, that was cool. Will you link that video? Is it just on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I can link it, but definitely, hopefully, we can get into it later. I don't know.
Yeah, we can resume. I don't think this will last too long.
Yeah, because Pinky's going to tell us how far the sun is.
When I was
Resume. I don't think this will last too long.
Yeah, because Pinky's going to tell us how far the sun is.
when I was arguing with Jose and them about the Cavendish experiment and everything, and I still got the big ass lead balls and the littler ones. I got like about 50 pound, 2 50 pound balls and like 2 or 3 pound balls. I forgot, but I messed with it a little bit. But I was showing them that if you, I think this would kind of have to do with the Casimir effect. Like I was showing them that 2 lead plates, if you put them near each other, just like not lead balls, they may do the same thing. But the 2 lead plates, one of them automatically assumes a positive charge, and one of them automatically assumes a negative charge, like from the resonance or from the vibration. Who knows how? But
There's no
when you
such
come
thing as
near each
negative
other,
charge. He
well, you know what I'm saying.
explicitly explained it has to do with the virtual photons, which
Yeah, sure, sure.
in
I'm
essence
I'm good with
he's
that.
talking about magnetism, and if you use the balls, you're losing about 7 orders of magnitude. He said.
Yeah, I'm good with
Okay,
all that. I'm
we'll
learning,
get
but
back to that. We'll get back to that
I'm
in a
almost done.
second.
Look,
Okay,
I'm
all right,
almost done.
go for it.
My point is with the Cavendish and everything. With when you're using lead balls and everything, and I don't know if it has to do with other than metal, but by putting the plate together, you get a two opposite charges, whatever you want to call them, just in nature, just by nature. I think it has to do with the video we were watching, man. But I
Are those the
demonstrated
lead
that
balls you
live
bought for your Kegel workouts?
my Kegel. That's funny, bro. Look,
That was a good
I,
one.
no, I've took apart a bunch of old batteries, man. I got a shitload of lead, dude. Shitload. I made some batteries too,
Nice.
man.
And
I
as
made some
far as
pretty good
measuring the
batteries.
sun, how do you measure the sun if it's a mere black body? What are you doing? What are you doing, Pinky, to measure the sun?
Oh no, Mikey is gonna. He's here to defend his. He can pick whatever claim he wants to defend. He can lay the case out, and then we'll see if I can defeat his claim.
Yeah, I can't get to the sun. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to get to the sun. I can get to the town next over from me. Can't get to
Is
the
that
sun
the
though.
position? Is that the position you've come here to defend?
It's the sun is further than my next door neighbor's house because I know I can get to my next door neighbor's house, but I can't get to the sun. Haven't figured
Okay.
out a way to get there.
Okay. What tools could we use to figure it out? Let's see if we can figure it
If
out
I,
together.
okay, I'm going to use a tool called my car, and I'm going to drive over to my neighbor's house.
Okay.
Okay, I'm there now. Now you go get to the sun. Good luck.
Okay. How, like, if we saw something up in the sky, would you drive your car up to that? That would be the method you'd use?
If I saw something in the sky, all right. You know what? I'm going to shoot a bird over my house, and I'm going to kill it.
Okay. Are you
I
going to use your
killed the
car for
bird
that?
with my gun, and I know that the bird was closer than the sun because I can't shoot the sun.
How do you know?
Shoot the sun. Show me shooting the sun. Go ahead.
Well, how do you know you didn't shoot the sun?
Did you shoot the sun? Have you shot the sun?
I'm not claiming one way or the other. Your claim was that
Yeah.
you can't shoot the sun.
Yeah,
How did
because
you
I can
verify that
kill
you
a
didn't
bird
shoot
and a
the sun?
bird can fall down, and we know I shot the bird.
Well, yeah, but I could shoot a cloud. I could shoot a low-lying
You can
cloud
shoot a
and it wouldn't
cloud?
fall
Shoot a
and it wouldn't
cloud.
fall down. It wouldn't
Show
fall
us how
down.
to shoot a cloud.
Okay, you just get a gun, get like a low. You can make your own cloud, and then you just shoot it.
Great.
But
And
it doesn't fall
will
down.
you see the cloud change?
Probably not. If you were close enough, you might see a little hole go through the cloud, but you'd have to be
Okay,
really
so you
close.
know you shot the cloud.
Well, I couldn't see it from where I was standing.
So you don't know if you shot the cloud or not. I can guarantee you if I shot a bird.
Yeah, you don't think you've ever hit a bird, like grazed a feather and then it just flew off?
I can guarantee you when I hit a bird and it falls to the ground, I can guarantee that.
Well, yeah, if it falls to the ground, but you don't think it's possible to hit the bird and it not fall to the ground?
Can we change
Is
it
it
to a drone
possible?
just to keep the bird safe?
That's right. Yeah, we can change it to a drone. You could
Great.
shoot a
So let's
drone
send a
and
drone
graze.
up. Let's send a drone up, put some sensors on it, and we'll shoot it. And if we graze it, will the sensors record that it's been shot?
Possibly, yeah. It depends on
Excellent.
how direct the hit was. I would take a different
Excellent.
approach. I don't think driving your car to the sun is a good.
I
I
didn't
don't know.
say I
That
was
might
going to
work.
drive
That
by.
might
I didn't. Why
work well
did
on the
you're the
metal.
one?
Hold on,
No, no,
I'm
no.
talking.
You're the
I'm
one.
talking.
I'm talking. I'm
Notice how you
talking.
interrupted?
I know. I'm sorry. You're
Like
talking
I
over
started
me.
talking and
Jeremy, you gonna mod this for
Okay.
them, or are you gonna mod this for them, Jeremy, or are we just gonna let this be a shit show?
I'll yield. He really wants to say something, so I'll yield. Go ahead, Mikey.
Okay, little body. Hey, Pinky, how's it going? How's it going, little body?
It's
I mean, I don't
great.
Hey,
think we
Chill.
need to do all that.
body.
Let's just all
It's a
be
chill
adults
Sunday.
and I mean, it's a chill Sunday. We get it fired up, but let's try
I
to
mean,
keep it chill. Like
we
that
went
way, we can
from.
hear all the info. Dice Slow's interrupting me now. Do you want me to mod this,
I
Dice
got
Slow?
you,
You're gonna be
bro.
the first one I mute.
Dicelo, it won't. Your topic was way more interesting. It won't. I don't think this will last long.
I
Just
was
have
just
to.
saying we went from free energy to driving cars to the sun, bro. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
what's
was
the
the claim.
actual? What's the like the
That was the
topic
claim
or the
he wanted to
argument or
defend.
whatever?
Okay, I gave him any claim that he wanted to defend, and he brought up
And
proving the
Pinky
distance.
brought
And
up
now I'm
driving
talking.
cars to the
See how
sun.
I was talking, and then he couldn't. He just couldn't help himself.
He said he
Okay, go
couldn't
ahead.
get to the sun. His argument is you can't get to the sun, right? It's not tangible. The sun's not tangible.
That I don't. Was that your argument?
It sounded like he made it say like you can't get to the sun.
No, his argument was he can drive his car to the neighbor's house, but he can't drive his car to the sun.
That was an example. No, he was just giving you an example of how he could get to his neighbor's house, but he can't get to the sun.
Okay,
I
using
think
his
he's
car.
talking about empirical evidence, right? Versus like for like I don't know, presumption, like based on mathematics. Like I'm assuming you're gonna say you triangulated the distance to the sun somehow using some sort of trigonometric function somehow or something. Because I know you
No,
can't get a
well,
laser
sort of.
pointer to a near black body and expect the rebound or whatever to take place.
No, like in old military. This is my argument. In old military days, they would want to know the distance to various targets, but they couldn't drive their car there because they were at war, and they probably get shot. So they developed other techniques. Like one is they use parallax. You can use parallax to figure out how far away something is from you without driving your car to it, right? So parallax it does use right triangles, and we can use a similar principle to at least get a rough estimate. Like we could say, okay, maybe the sun is maybe it's 10 miles above us, maybe it's 1,000 miles above us, or maybe it's tens of millions of miles above us. And I think Mikey's claim, because he said the reason it doesn't shrink is because it's far away, and I
Sorry,
agree
who's
with him.
Mikey? Who's Mikey?
Oh, that's you. Is your name not Mikey?
No, my name is not Mikey. My name is Yoga and Plant Medicine.
My bad. Okay, I'll call you Yoga. So yoga said that the sun was the reason why it doesn't shrink in size is because it's far away, and I agree with that. I think
But it
we could go
does, doesn't it
further. We
change
could
in
use
All
angular
right, we're
size?
good.
it does change, yes. And that's exactly if something changes in angular size, you can use that change to make determinations about how far away it is.
Right. Because I hear the argument often that from the Glober side that the sun doesn't change in angular size, but you know,
Yeah, that's wrong.
other
That's incorrect.
y- right. I mean, it does. Like I don't know. Then they try to like diminish it by saying it's only minimal or something,
It's
Could I
zero
just
negligible.
point zero three 0.03% change over
right?
the course of the day.
Just let me de-straw manify that. What the Globers say is that the sun doesn't change in apparent angular size nearly enough for what the flat Earth would need.
Yeah, you hear that nearly. There's your diminishing factors there, and trying to minimize the facts.
No, well, okay,
But either
so
way,
if we know it changes, the first thing we have to agree to is does it change in angular size by 0.03% over the course of a day?
I mean, even if that was the case, right? Assuming, um, sure, like we could say that's not enough, right, to account for the flat Earth, like Jesse stated, or we could say maybe it's not actual.
Well, it
Maybe
has
this,
nothing to do with it has nothing to do with flat or globe. I'm not making a flat Earth argument right now.
right? You're just making a distance argument or something, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So earlier yoga said the sun doesn't change in angular size because it's far away. So I'm curious how he knows that.
Do you want to jump in, Yoga, or
He might be taking a nap.
you might have had to feed the cats or the dogs or something? But I mean, dude, if you had the sun, like there are things that we can change our distance to where they don't change angular size, right?
I can think of one thing, and it's a rainbow, and a rainbow's just a reflection of light.
Yeah. So it is possible for there to be a light in the sky that doesn't change angular size with distance.
Well, if you're
Well, when
claiming
you say light,
if you're claiming that
you're
it's a
talking about
rainbow,
visible light,
then
right? I mean, you got to make that distinction.
are you saying
No, I don't
Jeremy?
think so. I don't think so.
Where did Yoga go?
He might have had to. He might have got busy or something.
Maybe he's looking for the map. The yoga map, of course.
You can't think of anything other than rainbows.
I can't know.
What? That's not actual light or something? What are you saying? What's
Well,
the
like
rainbow?
that doesn't respond to normal perspective. Like you walk closer to it, it gets larger in angular size. You go further away from it, it gets smaller in angular size.
Okay. And what
That's
is a
what normal
rainbow?
things do.
Rainbow is
Rainbow
just
is
a
not
reflection of light.
okay. So it's not the actual light, right? It's the effect, the secondary effect of that light doing something else. It's consubstantial. You understand what that means?
I don't. I've never heard that word before.
So consubstantial existence is something that requires two things coming within proximity to create this third thing that we're calling the rainbow, right? So you can analogize it with like a colored filtered lens. Like let's say we've got a green colored filtered lens and we've got a flashlight. We bring these two things within proximity. And the third effect is the projection on the wall. Now we have a green projection on the wall. That green projection on the wall wouldn't exist unless these two things brought it into existence. So it's not actual, it's apparent. It's a consubstantial existence,
I
like
looked
the
up
rainbow.
consubstantial and it says of the same substance, essence, or nature.
Well, yeah, but look up consubstantiality. I don't know. Maybe that'll
All
help.
right. Consubstant.
And don't let it take you down this like weird religious
I will.
thing that I don't
It
know.
just says the state of being of the same substance, essence, or nature. In Christian theology, it means the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, that's a
I
fine.
mean,
I just never heard the word.
they give that analogy, but I mean, it's not something that can be argued against. This isn't in a debate here, bro. Like it's what I'm telling you is what it is, bro. Like there's things that only exist by means of two or more things coming within proximity to create its existence. And I don't know. I just gave you a fine analogy, and the rainbow seems to be one of those things, right? It's kind of like a projection,
Yeah.
right,
All
or
right.
a
Where did yoga
reflection.
go? Yoga. Paging yoga. Yoga,
You
yoga,
don't want the
yoga.
smoke right now. He's busy, dude.
Yeah. I mean, if he's too whatever, we can move back to unlimited energy.
That's fine. We could do this. I could do this with you and shit, and then we can go back to that. If you guys had something you were trying to get to, it sounds like you guys had like a debate or argument going elsewhere and had to come here for like proper moderation, which is fine. It's what we do here.
Yeah. So with the rainbow thing, rainbows, they have certain properties. They behave in a certain way. So you only see you only see the rainbow from one side. You can't walk around it. You've never seen a rainbow looking at it on from the side or from a side angle. It's always at a 90-degree angle to the viewer, right? And the sun is very different than that because we can have people on all four sides of the sun looking at it, and they can point at the sun and we can draw a line to it, and it's where it's the sun is where they point,
Not
right?
at one time. Any given moment, we just have one perspective on the sun. You're not getting. Are you saying like a guys on different sides of Earth can see different parts of the sun? I
Correct.
know the
Yeah.
moon gets
Take
that,
the
but I
sun's
don't think
GP.
this.
Take the sun's GP. We know where that is, and then walk in have people go in four different directions till you hit land. Have those people all look up. They'll all see the sun. It's not, and the sun's not a rainbow.
They're
And
not
there's
seeing
no
this different
other.
side though. You're saying they're seeing a different side.
No.
Yeah,
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
if
even
the
know if
sun
the
was
moon's like
close,
that, Jeremy.
if the sun was close, they would see a different side for sure. But we don't.
I don't even think the moon's like that.
What I'm saying, so we're always 90 degrees to the sun. You were trying to make some argument like we're always 90 degrees to the rainbow and we're not to the sun, but we are to the sun.
No, what I'm saying is if you go if
You made
you
an
if you
argument that we're hold on, bro. Let's wrap this up before we go on to something else. You said we're all 90 degrees from the rainbow always, right? And
I'm
then
saying
you
the
went on
rainbow
to say with
presents.
the sun, we can see it from different sides, but now you said we can just we're only seeing it from one side.
Yeah, you can't have somebody drive straight through the rainbow
What are
to
you
the other
talking about?
side.
Driving the rainbows and driving the suns all day, dude.
It's not that it's
Y-
like this isn't that hard of a concept.
Pinky,
You see a rainbow,
Pinky, have you ever
see
seen
a
a rainbow in the
rainbow.
dark?
I've never seen a rainbow in the dark. No.
Have you ever heard a rainbow in the dark?
No, I've
It's
never
a
heard a
good song.
rainbow in the
Good song,
light
by the
or
way.
in the dark.
All right, it's a good song, by the way. All right, go ahead.
I slow tasted the rainbows. How you talking about Skittles?
Wait, what's the song?
That's what it's called. It's called a rainbow in the dark, dude. Just check it out, bro.
Now I gotta go look it up. Is this one of Brian Leakey's AI songs? Rainbow in the Dark.
No, it's
Okay,
an old
so
school like '80s classic.
okay, if we let's say I get that there's some place we can hold that the sun is a mystical, magical light thing that behaves unlike any other
All right,
thing
dope.
that we've
That
observed on Earth, and we'll put that as a hypothesis to the side, right? But what's more likely, and like with the moon, because we've
That's not a
flown around it,
hypothesis, bro. That's not a hypothesis. That's just a what is question. Like, what is the sun? What is this thing? It's not like a cause and effect relationship between anything. Like, you don't know what I go ahead. You don't know what a hypothesis is. Carry on.
yeah, I mean, it's a hypothesis that the reason why it doesn't behave the way it should, like everything else, is because it's some other manifestation of light or material or whatever.
I still don't like it, but let's move on.
Right. We don't like if I was looking at something in the distance and I wanted to gauge the distance to it, I don't start by saying, is that thing a, weird figment of light that behaves in a way of nothing else? Or would I say, oh, that's an object and we can do some like trig on it? It'd probably be the latter. So that's
We do have
we
proof of concept that it may be possible because a lot of globers go around saying it's impossible. It would change angular size on a flat Earth. We do have a we do have reasons to believe that it could be because we have proof of concept that there are things that don't change angular size with distance. So I'd like to call on you every time the glober makes these arguments and reference this conversation right here.
What
you're,
object
you
does not
you want to call
change?
onto me? Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's your
both agree
question.
that we have proof of concept that you could walk. There are things that don't change angular size with distance.
A rainbow.
Yes,
Okay, you said things. So what else?
rainbows, things.
Okay. All right. Can you think of, there's got to be something else.
I
Come
asked
on, man.
you, motherfucker. I asked you five
I
minutes
don't know
ago
of
if there was
anything
anything else.
else. All right, let's ask
You don't think I
ChatGPT.
would have said it if I knew? You think I would have
Oh,
just been sitting here this whole time with only one stupid rainbow?
Well,
okay.
and even a
Well,
rainbow is just drops of water, which are
Things,
things in places
things, Pinky. Okay,
that
there we go.
do
Thank you,
change,
Jesse. Things.
which individually do change apparent angular size as you change distance from them.
The rainbow,
The drops of water
but the
that's
rainbow
creating.
doesn't though. I'm talking about the rainbow.
Yeah, but the rainbow is not a thing. It's an image created by a whole bunch of things, the drops.
Okay,
remember, I
maybe
think
then this.
rainbows maybe change. I think maybe it's like inverse or some weird thing. But they definitely don't, rainbows aren't, we all agree they're not like a physical thing. You can't get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Rainbows are physical by every definition of mainstream terms of what physical means. Rainbows are physical. Can you taste the rainbow? Have you ever
I mean,
tasted
you
the
can
rainbow?
taste, of course I have. Of course I have many times.
I don't know about what you and Wes do in the private of your own homes. That's fine. However, uh, there is a thing or things or whatever you want to say this rainbow is, this thing we see. It's something we see, right? As a rainbow, it's a thing we see. There's this thing we see where it doesn't change angular size accordingly to what the globers always say. Well, if the sun was this, it would have to change angular size. Like we already know that proof of concept with a rainbow that things do not have to follow the law of perspective.
Okay, primary rainbow is always centered on the anti-solar point and has an angular radius of about 42 degrees. Okay, here's the thing. Let's say maybe the sun is a rainbow. We'll put that on the shelf for right now as a hypothesis. We have a hypothesis
Maybe
that the sun is a
the
rainbow. It's a hypothesis. The rainbow sun hypothesis. We'll put it on the shelf. Now
Gio's gonna love this one, but go ahead.
let's go with the crazy idea that the sun, it's just a physical object like everything else.
That's crazy. So
if it's a physical object and it changes in angular size by 0.03%, and we're just like rough napkin math, right? All we need to do is say how far does the sun travel from the solar noon at my location to, let's just say, sunset. Right? And like how, if you had to get a wild estimate, how far would you say that is? I would say, like, we could say at a minimum, the ground track is like 6,000 miles, right? I could be wrong on that, Jesse.
Yeah, it's the GP would have had to move from noon to sunset about 6,000 miles.
So according to globe, quarter radius, and then you'd figure it's up in the sky, some distance or whatever. Okay, so basically, if you can take the distance and the angular size, and then you can calculate basically how far away the sun would have to be to match that observation. Right? And the way you do that is you just take...
I mean, if you're seeing the actual sun, I mean, you have to assume that.
Yeah, we are. We're assuming that the sun is just a physical thing like everything else we see. It's not a rainbow. So to do that, all you do is you just take the distance that it traveled, and then you divide it by the change in angular size. So the change in angular size is 0.00028. Distance traveled. I mean, the distance traveled 62. I put 6,200 miles. That literally assumes that the sun is like at the ground level. So we know it's higher than that. But even at ground level, that comes out to 22 million miles. So if you concede that the sun's a physical object, then all of us are going to be believers that the sun is tens of millions of miles away. And that was my point. It looks like Yoga, he never lasts too long, but my point was, even by him making the argument that the reason why the sun doesn't change size is because it's far away, he is a believer that the sun is tens of millions of miles away. Jeremy, not so much, because Jeremy he's holding out for the rainbow hypothesis. Or some undiscovered light. Maybe Jesse. Jesse, have you heard of anything else besides a rainbow that's something apparent that doesn't change angular size that we can see?
I mean, a projection in a virtual reality machine? But that's not really a thing, is it? A projection is not a thing, is it?
No. I mean,
I
it
mean,
could
they
be,
exist.
but we're
They
talking
have
about things
projections.
that...
But yeah, no, I agree. It's not an actual thing. kind of
To
like a
have
rainbow and the
to have
consubstantial thing I described.
to have an actually zero change in angular size in relation to distance, you would need a point source of light that had actually zero diameter, which of course is not possible because it has to have at least the wavelength of the light. It has to be at least the 532 nanometers or whatever.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we were on the topic of point source, i.e., 0 point energy.
However, you could have a 532 nanometer point source of green light that would not change angular diameter very much because it is already so close to a point source. But then it also has zero angular diameter for any practical purposes.
Yeah, and that one he was trying to ask about stars, but the problem with stars is you have to have an angular size discrepancy over the course of a day. Otherwise, the formula is just dividing by zero, which is
Well,
Right.
stars technically are point source. They're coherent light, and that is
They're not
point
coherent.
source.
Except them new
and they have
lasers.
and like
I'm pretty sure they are.
larger stars have they have an angular size, I believe. Like
I
there's
believe
some that
some of,
are that we can measure the angular size of.
yes, only with the biggest telescopes. It looks like it's Ardoratus is the star with the largest known angular size, and it's like a 0.06 arc seconds, which is like completely unresolvable with any, amateur gear.
All right, I got a list, Jeremy. Rainbow, a halo around the sun. So that doesn't help much for the sun, but the halo is 22 degrees always.
That's
A
just a
sun,
rainbow from the other side.
yeah, a sundog, which is 22 degrees to the left or right of the sun. A glory, which I don't even know what that is, but circular rings around the anti-solar point, often seen from airplanes. So maybe it's a glory or a corona around the sun. That doesn't work either. So we can increase the scope of our hypothesis to a glory or a rainbow.
I just want to read this real quick. It says starlight at the star's surface. The light is spatially incoherent. However, by the time the starlight travels trillions of miles to Earth, it spreads out so much that it effectively acts as a single distant point source. Because of this immense distance, the light wavefronts flatten out, making the starlight spatially coherent when it reaches our telescopes. So, there you go.
There we go. See, I don't know if it was coherent or not. So you're saying you're defending the claim that starlight is coherent.
Yeah, that's what read off Google.
Coherent with what?
It becomes spatially coherent at high distances. It says it's in summary, starlight is temporally incoherent but spatially coherent. The only true natural coherent light sources are extremely rare phenomena known as astrophysical masers or lasers, whereas starshine as thermal chaotic radiators. But
Oh,
all, it's
oh,
spatially coherent light source,
okay.
which makes it a point source at
Okay, so
distances.
it's using the term coherent completely differently. It does not mean coherence like a laser would be. It means something else in this case. I think
Well,
it just means essentially parallel.
spatially coherent, yeah. So it flattens out essentially. Yeah.
It says I asked, is starlight coherent? ChatGPT says usually no, but it does say spatial coherence, it can have some coherence across small telescope apertures because the star is far away and has tiny angular size. But it says temporal coherence is very low, and then it says lasers are coherent and stars are not lasers. That's really helpful because I thought maybe a star was a laser.
I was going to start harvesting laser stars and selling them on eBay.
But it's so weird. I don't know why it would say. I don't know. It just seems like a weird. Like it doesn't fit the category of types of coherence, but whatever. I probably just don't know enough.
Well, I mean, technically, you can make any light source coherent with a filter and a pinhole aperture. That's kind of how the first pseudo laser was created, using a mercury arc lamp.
Do you so I have a question on the sun thing. I don't believe we can bounce things off the sun reliably, but do you think we can bounce like radio waves off of the moon?
That's what they claim to do.
If you saw like if you did this and you saw reliable evidence of it, would that be evidence to you that the moon is physical?
Or at least has a location.
Yeah, I would say it would give it some sort of proximity.
Nice. Because we could do the same you can do the same thing with the moon, right? Track the moon's angular size difference, and then if we concede that it's physical, then you can do the same distance. It'd be effectively the same distance because it's on the same cycle as the sun or whatever.
Yeah, not really my wheelhouse of discussion, to be honest.
Yeah, that's all right. We can go back. Yoga left. We'll have to see if we can lure him in another day. We can go back and go back to the video. That was pretty interesting.
The sun, it's totally tangible. You could get there if you really wanted to. The sun is totally tangible. You could get there if you really wanted to, but you don't want to. You just wanna come online and complain, 'cause things don't seem like that way that they say, yeah, but the sun is totally tangible, it's what they say, so I believe them, why don't you? The sun, it's like totally tangible. You could get there if you really wanted to. Sure to join the military with designs on going into the Air Force, so you could join NASA, become an astronaut. 'Cause anyone can be an astronaut. Anyone, 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 anyone. Anyone can be an astronaut. Yeah. The sun, it's totally tangible. How dare you argue against it? The sun is totally tangible. I can't believe you don't believe these things are negative and model. The sun, it's totally tangible. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson said it's totally tangible, so it's gotta be totally tangible. I mean, oh my god, because like I looked into the science books and like, I I might not have graduated high school or anything, but like I totally think that like I don't know, like it's like totally tangible. It has to be totally tangible because if it's not totally tangible, then that would mean that like somebody was lying, and they're not lying. The sun is totally tangible. You could get there if you really wanted to. The sun is totally tangible. You could get there if you really wanted to. Anyone can be an astronaut. Everyone's gonna go to space. We're gonna go to space. Yeah. And there's like Lagrange points with satellites in parking lots in space. Lagrange points are parking lots in space. And there's like one, it's L3, and it's on the other side of the sun. Because the sun's totally tangible. It's like, it's in the middle. You know what I mean? It's in the middle. So like, it's totally tangible. You could go there if you really wanted to, but like, I mean, I don't know.
How to win the fifth cup on Airbnb?
DM it to me if you could.
I just posted it in live stream chat, so because probably other
Right,
people
I
will
may
do it
miss
too.
that. I'm Andrew, so
Okay. So this is 1853, and it's train track building long before software. And in the section on leveling, this is sorry, did I say what it is? This is a railroad engineering textbook from 1853. And so this says, in consequence of the globular figure of the earth, a level surface is not as it appears to be a plane surface. It is nearly, though not exactly, spherical. And then it goes on to explain how, if you're building railroad tracks, how you would account for it.
Well, we already know you can't have square feet on a sphere, right?
You definitely can.
Nope, you definitely can't. We did this last night, bro.
I think I read this. I don't
You got wrecked last night on this thing. Did you not get
Yeah.
wrecked last night on this or no?
Well,
Am I tripping?
you wrecked me by saying that we can never calculate the area of a circle. I don't think that's quite wrecking me.
Because you can't take something that has constant Gaussian curvature and then
Does a
make
circle have
square on it.
constant? Does a circle have constant Gaussian curvature?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
No.
Well,
All
the
right,
circle,
let's send
the circle part of it does, not this flat side, obviously.
My friend Gary thinks a circle
Not the flat side,
has.
bro. Not the flat side. The other
I'll
part
tell it that. Has constant Gaussian curvature. He says, "quote not the flat side." Is Gary correct?
It's constant drop from everywhere. Yes, dude.
Gary is wrong.
Oh my
Or
God.
using the wrong term. A circle is a 1D curve, so it does not have Gaussian curvature. It has ordinary curvature. Gaussian curvature is a 3D. So it's R cubed.
Yeah, that's fine.
So-
Whatever, though. The point is, the sphere is 3D. It has this curvature, which means you cannot. That's what I'm saying. Anytime you have to use pi, like even on the outer edge of a circle, that's how they tried to get pi. Is they kept trying to break it down into smaller and smaller triangles, and then they would flip the triangles so that they would make rectangles out of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the more slices they made out of the circle, the closer they would get to pi. But you can never obviously do that enough to where you actually get pi.
Yeah,
That's
just
why
like you can't
have a
ever get.
square. That's why
if
you
I-
can't have the square on the sphere, bro.
Okay, if I bring you a square and I say, give me 1/3 of the square, you can't do that either.
Okay.
All right, so that's. I mean, if that's
I'm not
your
arguing you
argument,
can.
it's not a very good argument.
But it's true though. You're arguing against me. Like it's not true for some reason.
Yeah, I think if you have a piece of wood, you can cut 1/3 of it off. To anybody's, and you could
I mean,
do
if you
that
have
to
3
any
feet,
rational person's definition of a
if
third.
you have 3 feet of wood, yes, you could get 1/3. You could cut 1 foot off and be like, I gave you 1/3 of it. So now what? What's your point? You have no point anymore.
No, my point's just I think most people, if you go to them and you say it's impossible for you to cut a piece of wood into thirds, they're going to say you're crazy. Ask your wife what she thinks
Until
about
you
that.
tell them about the 3 foot piece of wood. Once you say, "Oh, I have a 3 foot piece of wood. Can you cut it into thirds?" I'd be like, "Yeah."
Yes. By the way, this is exactly the argument I made last night. I said, if you want to know the surface area of a sphere, you just have to make the radius something where the math comes out to an
But
even
then
whole
you can't
number.
tell me the radius, though. If you do that little radius trick, you can never give me the distance of the radius.
I
You're in
can.
the same
But
predicament. You
yeah,
can't.
but it's the same as me saying, take a third of, and I could give you a different length of wood that doesn't divide evenly.
Yo, that's the
Right?
exact thing that Kosho tried on me. The thing where you change the radius
Hey,
to
he's
have
number one Glober.
that is literally the exact. You reminded me of him
Yeah,
right out of the gate.
dude.
You actually reminded me of him because you would come up with shit that I never heard before, and he used to do that all the time too.
See, I knew
Hey, I
that
have a
guy was smart.
question. What would Buzz Lightyear say about this argument?
No, you guys need to be thinking, what would Kosho do?
I can't. I will never live that down. I called Buzz Aldrin Buzz Lightyear.
Infinity and beyond.
I Freudian slipped just when Eden was teaching us about how he definitely knows that Buzz Aldrin was Freudian slipping, and then I did it. This, and then we can change the topic. When they were
No, because
after this era, they were going back in to look at things, and they wrote this like report up about it. And there was one. It says one portion of his paper was subtitled "Texas is flat." In his address, Twitchell is quoted, quote, "The earth is round in the United States, while the earth is flat for all legal purposes in Texas." There you go. Earth is flat in Texas, according to this paper.
That is what I'm thinking about.
Hold on, what is this about?
You talked about it yesterday, and you've also talked about it in the past. You have a
I say so
system
many
of-
things. Go ahead.
Right, but this one is consistent. I think it is to do with energy and harnessing, like it is some sort of perpetual motion thing you're talking about with magnetic tracks, right? Like the diverging tracks.
100%. No, the tracks don't diverge. The V's, the magnet V's do. It'll be like just rows of V's. I mean, if you search V-gate magnetic track, you can probably find them. You may even be able to find some of the ones that go at an incline. But yeah, if you want to bring someone through or something, I'll fucking talk to them about it.
Yeah, because I think that'd be interesting. Because you said the way you were thinking about it has not been done yet. It's just I'm watching the V-gate magnetic tracks here.
It's never been done. They
Yeah.
have met an incline. They try to make it go around into circles. Circles don't work. You can't do a circle. Maybe, but I doubt it. There's always an equilibrium point. The reason why my thing works is because it gets rid of the equilibrium point. When you try to go in a circle, there's somewhere it gets stuck. With my thing, there is nowhere for it to be stuck. It's not going to get stuck going up. It's not going to get stuck going down. You know what I'm saying? There's no sticky point in the whole track, the
Yeah.
idea of the track.
And that is what I'm curious, like the specific details exactly on how that would work, because that is the crux of the whole thing, right? If what you're saying actually works and there is no hang up of energy equilibrium point being because there might be some tricky shit that is not very easy to think about. Yeah, if we can get
Well,
that part specifically.
I think it was Action Lab just did a video on the Oberth effect, which is kind of what this uses, but not really. Like, it's an actual effect. It's called the Oberth or Ebo birth or something. I
Oh
forget
yeah,
the name of
I'm
it.
looking at it now, yeah. Let's see, orbital mechanics principle stating that a rocket engine generates far more useful kinetic energy when traveling at high speeds. And because kinetic energy is proportional to the square velocity, firing engines at the lowest point of an orbit provides the most efficient burn. And this is something that would be integrated in your V-gate track somehow?
Well, I don't know about what you just said, but when the Action Lab did a video on it, he made it sound like when things are falling, you can get a little bit of energy out of that, which is obvious. Like more energy than you put in, though. You gotta watch like
Okay.
Action Labs video on it.
Oh yeah, I think I'll have to watch that. My immediate thought is like, okay, the energy probably comes from elevating it to that point to be able to fall to begin with, right? Is probably the. But I'll have to look at this video.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, though, either way, like I said, with my thing, there is no sticky point.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point where it's going to reach an equilibrium. It can't. It's impossible for there to ever be a point where this reaches an equilibrium. So it would just keep going until the magnets wore out, I guess, or the wheels broke or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of mechanical failure.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see that like in action. I have some people that are a little bit more knowledgeable than me. If I get back to you in the DMs within like a week, uh, if they are really interested to try this, would you be able to like make like an explanation of exactly how you imagine the setup to be?
I mean, is
Or
this something you could do in like Blender or something? Is there magnetism in Blender or one of these things or something? I don't know.
like to simulate it? No, I'm talking about a like um like in real life application of this,
Yeah,
not just
if we could build it, well, I was talking about just to get started, but yeah, if you get to build it, it probably costs a few $100 in magnets. Those neodymium magnets got really cheap. So
but that's
what I
fast.
need is a guy that knows about magnetism or something.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
got to be familiar with the V-gate magnetic track. Like that's all there is to it. No matter what he knows about magnets, he needs to be familiar with a V-gate magnet track. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah. I mean, I do. There's a guy that has a PhD in physics and one in chemistry, focusing on biochemistry, but organic chemistry. I think these people would be very. Yeah, I'll get back to you and see if they are familiar, and then maybe we can go from there. But good idea about Blender. Maybe a good starting step.
Like I'm 100% sure that this works.
I mean, you've
Like
talked about it for such a long
there's
time,
no
yeah.
question in my mind this works, bro. We can get something from a lower elevation to a higher elevation. It doesn't take a lot of energy to get it going. Doesn't take a lot of energy to stop it. You're going to stop it at it when it's at a decline anyways, so it's going to be easy to get it on and off the track. You stop the
Mm-hmm.
track during the free fall, make a little wheel spin or something from the thing falling. It curves a little bit while it's free falling. You have the track curve a little bit. Boom, it gets onto a new fucking track from some of the energy from its downward force. So force
Yeah.
it up a
Okay.
little bit. It'll get onto the next track, go up. Like the thing can't stop. It's like bad boy can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, is there any point here where we're actively losing energy somehow? I'm trying to think, because if you do that repeated loop,
No, we're gaining it. We're gaining it, bro. When you have the thing free falling, you have it spin a little wheel or something and create a little bit of electricity. You know what I'm saying? Just as a crude like
yeah,
proof of concept, and it could be refined and shit. You know.
mm, very interesting. I'm very like if we get that result as you theorize, that would be like a very big thing, you know, and that would be very interesting.
Well, I don't know how much you could even get on this. Like, a very crude thing would get next to nothing, and it would be massive. Like the exterior of your house to get this to go at an incline. Just don't just go 90 degrees, bro. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it needs to be a whole track too.
Yeah.
So like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not just a straight line or a loop. It needs to be like a whole circle around something, basically.
Yeah. It's a big thing. I get that.
Like you could never power a car off of this, but you could if you had this going like around a city or something, or maybe your house. It could probably be house sized, I would imagine. I don't
Well,
know.
things start at big scale, and then the theory behind it might be able to, like phones and computers start out fucking as warehouses, right? Maybe the technology can be like compressed over time.
Oh yeah, 100%, bro. I got another one that involves Triton or Tritonol or Trinitol or something. The thing that glows forever.
Well, I'm not familiar with that. What was it called? Tritonol? Tritonol. Only thing I find is
Oh,
tretinoin and
They make these little keychain things that'll just glow forever. Very dim
forever.
forever. Yeah.
No, I don't believe that. They don't go forever,
It
right?
cuts in half. It cuts in half every year, but essentially it would be millions of years before there was no
Uh,
photons coming off of this thing.
Isn't that crazy how like that little piece of matter can just be that much? I mean, I guess that's E equals mc squared, right? See how much energy is in matter. Cool.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you have that, so now there's photon coming off this thing forever, right? You encapsulate it with a spherical solar panel, right? So that no
Yeah.
matter where this thing, no matter where the photon comes off, the solar panel is going to catch it somewhere.
Okay, but we need one with 100% efficiency because I think every absorption or reflection could create a little bit of heat. Like it would heat it up a little bit, and you would still have some escape. Because solar panel, I don't know, they're not that effective as of now, but maybe in the future. Let me see, solar panel percentage of usable
It's so
energy.
wild how much energy is released through like combustion of even just like a cup of gasoline. You guys ever seen the video where a Russian Olympic bicyclist is has a stationary bicycle attached to a toaster, and the job is just to provide enough current so that he can toast one piece of toast, and couldn't do it. Couldn't tuckered himself out. Even
Hmm.
an Olympian trying his best can't provide enough energy to toast a piece of toast. But a thimble full of gasoline, you know, can. It's crazy how much energy is actually stored in that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's a lot. But what would be, I mean, they're working more and more on antimatter. I really hope antimatter doesn't become very easy and cheap to produce. Imagine they start making fucking antimatter matter bombs. You need like nothing. You need such a tiny amount to create a huge explosion. Because that, I mean, antimatter and matter interaction, that is E equals mc squared. Whatever energy you have, that is pure energy at that point. When you're splitting atoms in like a nuclear bomb, you're not even getting close to the maximum potential. So I don't like antimatter production very much, to say the least.
How confident are you that antimatter is a real thing?
Well, it's just opposite charge explained as going backwards in time. So I think that is probably a real thing. But if you mean if they actually have it or made it, you mean?
Oh, I'm just saying as a I guess you say an ingredient of reality.
Yeah, I do, 100%. I mean, have you heard of CP like charge parity symmetry breaking violation? Like that's theorized at the Big Bang. When everything was together, like you had equal parts antimatter and matter, that should have
Except
resulted
for
in
there was a little bias, right? Just a little
yeah,
more
there you
regular
go.
matter than antimatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I mean, that's
Every
just a
interact
story at this point.
well, I mean it is I mean CP violation is confirmed in the weak nuclear force. Like you can observe it, and in the Big Bang, it theorized that every 1 out of 100 billion annihilations, the charge parity symmetry broke. So you kind of had this thing squirting out just enough matter to create galaxies, planets. Like if you had a little bit more, it would just be a huge block of matter that condenses into a huge black hole. If you had a little bit less, you wouldn't have gravity enough to form star systems. So that, I mean, is a very, very big part of the fine-tuning argument for like a deity, right? It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I see how people would factor that in if if the Big Bang is assumed.
Yeah. But there's a lot to get there. I mean, a lot of people obviously do not accept the Big Bang, and in here there's a lot of discussions about reality, the Earth, and stuff like that. So to talk about CP violation might be difficult in a sense of you have like you're so disconnected from like shit like the Big Bang, right? And flat Earth theory. But I don't know, is the A map even used at all anymore, or is it just described as like a planar? I don't remember what do you call it? Maybe you're not flat. I was for a little bit. I was going back and forth for a bit, but now I'm convinced almost of the globe. Well, We don't have to get into that.
So I got a lot of homework to do before I understand even the words you and Jeremy were using with the V gates and the Aubert effect or whatever. But did you
Mhm.
feel like you understood his cool theory?
Yeah, I mean, I have a general. I would still have to be a little bit on the specifics of, because I'm a little bit suspicious about moving up again. There must be some sort of energy loss along the track, but I do, yeah, like 90% the gist of it.
Without
But
having any clue about it, so I'm really, talking from a place of ignorance about the details here. Just a general concern is that a lot of things that might seem like a perpetual motion device or like potentially free energy are just
mhm.
a setup that is very cleverly designed in order to have as little loss as possible.
Yeah,
So
I
you could
understand.
imagine, yeah, like, oh man, this thing's just going to keep on going and going and going. And but then if it
Hmm.
can't be done like in a vacuum and there's any sort of friction, then there's always some loss to heat, even in the most efficient mechanisms.
Exactly, yeah. Any interaction with, yeah, you would lose heat, in heat. That's usually the biggest. Yeah, you're right, 100%. There's usually something that completely stops this from working. Yeah, it's like never been properly done.
The
So,
only
but I
problem I
don't.
can see with this is if magnets wear out over time.
Yeah, good point.
And it takes more energy to make the magnets than it does for this thing to keep going, but it's not going to stop going as long as the magnets are good. And like I said, the wheels don't break or something. You could probably make this thing like into near indestructible. So
Yeah, but there
Whenever,
must be
and
some.
like I
Go
said, I
on.
still don't understand it, and I apologize for that. But one thing about magnets is that if something's crossing their path in order to be like accelerated by its tug, then once it's done being attracted, then it's also going to pull back on it by like an equal amount. So it's going to slow it down just as much as it accelerates it.
well, no, the V gates, that's the beauty of the V gate though. There is a slight tug at the bottom at the end, but like I said, I've seen dudes overcome it. It's not a big deal. Plus, we would have our V gate ending when the thing's at a near free fall, so it wouldn't be a problem to get it out.
You're hitting close on something a buddy of mine's working. Using actuator, electromagnetic coils.
If only there was some material you could put in front of a magnet to cut off its attraction to some ferrous fluid or ferrous material or whatever.
Well, bismuth is part of the well, yeah, one of the materials he's working with that.
Oh, you're coming in and out a little bit, but yeah, I know bismuth is the most diamagnetic element and material we know about, and you can suspend a cube of bismuth between two magnets just perpetually, I guess. But I don't think you can, like, say you got two magnets that are attracted to each other, and you put like a sheet of bismuth between them. The bismuth doesn't do anything to lessen the attraction between the two magnets on either side of it. There's it just like the magnetic field just permeates all things easily. I think. I know if I Google if you put lead between two magnets, or if you put a magnet on the top and bottom of a lead slab, it doesn't change anything at all about their attraction. which is mind blowing that nothing can get in the way of a magnet's attraction.
I don't know if you can hear me or not, but also ceramic bearings for long-term use, so heat transfer doesn't occur.
Okay, I mean, I believe that it's minimal. Locksmith, do I have you muted? Or no, you're lighting up, but I can't hear you.
Nah, ambient noise.
I think I might have shared with Jeremy already.
Hello.
Oh hell, I'm not coming in clear.
No, learn share. I could hear you clear. I was asking Fundy if he could hear me because he said he couldn't hear me.
Yeah, I can now. No worries.
But as opposed to like terms and phrases like over stuff, it's basically toys. It's the way we like to discuss it and treat it. I mean, it depends on what range you're talking about. But gamma, of course. Um, but I think what he's talking about is audible, right? Audible frequency. That's when you get into the physics is called overtones, fundamental and overtones, right? Prime resonant frequency. And then music is called what key? Harmonics. Yeah, that affects you.
Oh yeah. You guys talking about frequencies affecting
Well, yeah, and another
affecting
thing
your mouth?
that was spoken about was it's too high of a frequency to hear, and it's like, well, I didn't want to interrupt, be an asshole. There's definitely like Comet 67P, the different trees that make the sounds that have to either speed up or slow down. Like Comet 67P, we had to slow down 10,000 times to bring it within our audible range, right? And that's how you can literally take something you can't hear and bring it into audible range. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of things that were said that I would like to have responded to, but its shift in conversation was quite quick.
Wait, brother, do you have headphones on or something? Like, cause yeah, it sounds like every time you pause on a word, or even like while you're speaking, it'll like pause intermittently. It'll be like, "Hello, how are you today?" That's what
Great
it sounds like.
impression.
I'm talking to you, learn share. I'm
Love that
directing these
name.
Yeah,
vibrations.
I'm attempting to work on it. Yeah, is this any better?
That is actually better.
Excellent.
Give us a give us a try where you talk a little slower with a gap between words.
Hey guys, this might sound
Yes.
a little slow.
No,
You did it.
you're good now.
Good job, man. You did it.
Thank you, thank you very much.
But yeah, frequencies can definitely affect you. Don't they have those anti-protest or anti-riot less than lethal
Whoa,
weapons
whoa,
or like
whoa!
blast the
You're not supposed
frequency?
to know about that kind of stuff, bro. That's
I thought that
military.
was mainstream.
Well, yeah, it actually is. If you follow along with it, from Voice of God or Voice of God, Voice of Skull. Um, yeah, the military has been aware and practicing.
That you
Yeah,
can
the
heal
voice.
with frequencies has been than 100. Royal Raymond Rife resonance. He
Mhm.
established with his microscope points of implode of all
Oh, is that
organisms
what that sounded
by
like?
just frequency.
You're fading in and out. I'm wondering if that's what I was doing.
Yeah, my mic is sometimes it's recorded on X. I barely can speak. They like to mute me.
Yeah, Lauren shared something similar to that.
Raymond Rife, what most people leave out is his microscope, which he was able to use to observe in real time and adjust in real time accordingly. But you don't hear that. All you hear is about frequency this, frequency that. Not to mention the frequencies he was using was before the adoption of the atomic second, atomic clock, half-life of cesium.
Yeah, they
Hey, man,
destroyed his microscope more than once. That was a damn good thing.
if you guys know a bit about Rife and his machine, would you mind maybe mentioning some of the specific ways that like the claims on YouTube have gotten out of hand about like what he originally said versus the kind of things people kind of punch it up to mean,
And
the
even
exaggerations and
using
stuff.
his name, it's ridiculous, man.
Well, his
It's,
grandson is still alive, right? Or his great grandson. I see his great grandson or grandson posting on like Twitter and everything. And then there's a whole bunch of like I guess Chinese or third party knockoff versions. But I don't know. I don't have any experience with the machine itself.
if you don't have the microscope to observe in real time what's occurring as it's occurring, it's like throwing darts in the dark.
The microscope, what is it focused on?
Cellular level, the actual cells you're working on.
Oh,
Hey, locksmith. Um, I'm split on the whole Rife tech, resonant frequency, illness, cure, all that sort of stuff, right? I'm split
yeah.
because I know that the majority of what I hear on YouTube is really punched up and exaggerated and sensationalized. But I do have a personal experience where my dad was going to this. I don't think it really matters that he was Oriental or whatever. But
Mhm.
I'll just add that element in. But anyways, he uh, he was curing my dad's allergies, and it seemed to work for him. Although there were many days he had to go in, and it was very expensive. But hey, my dad claims he feels better, and he's obviously not like bloated, and his tongue doesn't swell up anymore. So apparently it worked. Anyways, he one time I went in there with him to one of his visits. I was getting over mononucleosis sickness, where one of the symptoms, and I could feel it in my body, that one of the symptoms is you have a swollen spleen. Okay, and the the guy says, I don't know why. He's like, "Hey, do you want me to do a reading of your body with my biofeedback machine?" And maybe it was a Rife machine. I don't know, but it was at least a biofeedback machine where I basically held on to two copper or brass rods in my hands, and
Mhm.
then I suppose you could say it took like some sort of electrical reading of all the, like, I suppose, the different organs in my body, and he said, "Oh, you look like you're in great health. except for it seems like your spleen is like disharmonious or whatever. And no one had told him that I was like 8 months into recovering from mono, where the only symptom I had left from that sickness was that my spleen is still swollen. That's why you're not allowed to play sports for an entire year once you contract mono, because your spleen takes a long time to unswell. And so for him to call that out specifically as the only thing in my body that was like out of harmony was like, okay, apparently this machine knows what it's, or, knows what it's
Huh.
doing. Now, I don't know if that
Yeah.
means he can heal me or whatever, but but just personal anecdote here, he at least detected the one organ in my body that was not doing so well. So that's what I can add to this conversation.
Did you ask him about the machine, or he didn't want to tell you, or what?
I wasn't like a real conscious being as I am right now. You know what I mean? I was very young. I was like maybe 16 or 17. Not really concerned with asking deep questions.
See if
But
you could find him again.
I could find him. I'm sure my dad has his contact. I mean, my dad must know the guy who cured his fucking allergies, right? So I suppose I could call him up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in Eastern medicine. You said he's Oriental, right?
Yeah, and he also did acupuncture. Like another time I went with my dad, he said, "Hey, do you want to get some acupuncture while you wait for your father's treatment to be done?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So I just sat out in the sort of acupuncture area of his office and had a bunch of needles stuck in me.
Oh, you did the acupuncture?
Yeah, just that one time in my life that he offered for free while I was just accompanying my dad for a visit.
Yeah, I always wanted to try that. I haven't never tried that now. But what,
I
did
didn't
it do
notice.
anything or what?
Yeah, I mean, I was a very healthy young man, so I'm I didn't notice anything major. No, like nothing noticeable at all. I couldn't tell you if it helped in any way at all. It wasn't really like targeted towards healing me. It was more just like a general, like, hey, we're gonna stick needles in all the best parts of your body to stick needles in. Basically, they're on my legs and arms, basically.
A small detour, if I may. Locksmith, does an argument relating to the radius of the Earth work if it doesn't have mass?
Bro, who's talking?
I'm
Sun
talking.
Tzu?
Sun Tzu?
Sun Tzu, I told you I live rent free in your head. You still talking to me about some bullshit.
Sure.
What?
So the question is, does an argument relating to the radius of the Earth work if it doesn't have mass?
Does an argument relating to the radius of Earth being 3959, is it relevant if you can't? Yeah, I would think you need math to prove that it's 3959 miles, right?
I don't know if you said math
So
or
you
math.
so you agree then that the argument doesn't argument relating to the radius of the Earth doesn't work if it doesn't have mass. Well, guess what your friend Lao Tzu was trying to do? He tried to argue that the
Oh my
radius
God.
is false by
Well, why don't
using an
you argue
argument
with
that
Who was friends
didn't
with
have
Lao Tzu?
Lao Tzu instead of me?
I can see
Because
that you're
you're
triggered, but you
arguing
could
about
still let
something
me
someone else
finish.
said.
What
Sure.
the hell just happened?
I'm triggered.
Yeah, I
I
don't know why
started
you're
talking and
arguing.
people started talking over me. That's what happened.
Okay, but you're arguing with me about something someone else said, though.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Because I gave his argument to you. And
Right.
if you accept,
Why don't
because
you address my claims? Why are you addressing his, like, on behalf of him?
you said literally that he cooked me. So apparently his
Yeah, you
arguments
got
work.
cooked. I mean,
And
if you
you are
just
like, this
read
guy
back
is golden.
the live
This
stream
guy's
text,
arguments
you
are
got
really
cooked.
brilliant.
Hold
So I'm
hold
not
on
sure
a
what's
second,
happening
Censor.
because I'm
Did he
talking.
say it
So
literally?
why are you talking?
Did he say it literally? Or are you
Say
just
what?
So
avoiding that?
here's the
You started talking
problem.
back when you said
I'm
literally.
gonna
You
keep
literally said
talking
that.
if you talk over me. So I'm gonna keep talking, and then everybody
No,
is
no.
suffering.
I'm trying to get into like where did you just cut him off?
like to where you're just like putting a straw man.
Sure. So the problem is this: he blames me for using an argument for the radius with the Earth that doesn't use maths. But his favorite butt buddy, Sun Tzu, did it. Lao
Bro,
Tzu did exactly the
why
same.
do you have
He
all
said
these
that the
like
radius of the Earth.
Okay,
homosexual
He
okay, now
said that
he's
the radius
responding.
of. Shut the fuck
You,
up!
no,
Shut
no,
the
no, because
fuck up! You
took
can
a you
hear me
took a you took
speaking.
no,
You
no, no,
can
no.
hear me speaking, right?
You took a turn.
Shut the fuck up! You're over talking.
No,
You
no,
can
you
hear
took
me
your
speaking.
time.
I know it.
No. I'm just
I
saying,
know
like
you
you
can
took your
hear me
time.
speaking.
No,
I
you
know
took
you
your
can
time
hear
to
me
like to make
speaking.
a
So
straw
why
man.
are you talking?
And
because you're being
I'm
disrespectful,
trying to
bro.
just like let you know that he's trying to respond because you can't just like talk shit
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
not have
but
somebody
he can
respond,
respond.
right?
He can respond after I'm
Like
done,
if
and
you
you
want to
can
prove your
say that
case, then
I'm
go
being.
prove your case.
You
I would
can
say
say
prove
your
your case.
point. You
You
can
don't
say
need to
your
bring
point as
anybody else
well.
into it. If
Guys,
it's
we gotta
Sure.
between
chill
you and
out,
him,
guys. Yo,
if it's
Yeah.
we gotta chill out a little bit, guys, please.
Sun Tzu, if
Yeah.
you can't bridle your tongue, why should I?
Well, let's all be
I'm bridling
bridled.
my tongue. The problem here is none of you guys can bridle your tongues because I was literally
Well,
speaking,
your
and
homosexual tendencies
you
just
guys
leak
cannot
out
stop.
All right,
between
we're
your
See,
instantly
it's
doing it
happening
again.
all
We're
over again.
instantly doing it
You
again.
cannot
Hold on.
bridle your
Hold
tongue.
on,
You
guys.
cannot bridle your tongue.
All right, hold on.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Let's all saddle up and get bridled. If we're doing Wild West turns, I don't know what bridled means, but can we all just calm it down and go one at a time, please?
The answer is no, we cannot, because these guys cannot do it. I could, but these guys cannot.
Well, when you say
They are
somebody's
flat
butt
earthers, and
buddy,
that means they get triggered and they will
Lori,
talk over me.
Lori, when you say someone's butt buddies and shit, like, bro, you gotta expect you're gonna might get a little kickback on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stick to the points.
Well, then that means you need to moderate the room and shut them up and put them on mute.
but I'm moderating you.
That's how moderation works.
Lori.
Just be a little more respectful and
Just don't say
we
butt
don't have to
buddies
be
and
so
try not
heated.
to insult. Yeah, let's try not to insult, and then you probably won't get as many interruptions. I'm not
Sure.
guaranteeing it's never going to happen, but can we please not interrupt and all go one at a time and try to be concise?
Sure. So the argument is very simple and concise. You, my mister, you are being a hypocrite because you do not accept from me an argument regarding the radius of the Earth that doesn't have maths. But then your friend was using the exact same kind of argument that didn't use math, and you don't have a problem with that. My argument, the argument that I presented to you, isn't even my own argument. I was just pointing to him that his argument is stupid. And then I gave that argument to you.
What's the
And
argument?
you were too busy and you were too triggered to even actually have an honest conversation about it. You just wanted to call names and you wanted to spiral. So I gave you a chance to spiral and you did that. So
All right, well, let's
congratulations.
just stick to the
I
point.
lived
This is very long winded for no
your
reason.
head. Yeah.
Lori, this is very long
I
winded for
lived.
no reason. Can we just stick to the actual points, please?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, the point is, I lived in your head rent free
No, dude,
immediately when you stepped into the
not the point.
conversation because you were triggered that I destroyed your friend.
Lori,
What are you
please,
talking about,
man.
Lori?
Laurie, like, is this your argument? Is your argument that the horizon is 1.22 square, times the square root of the observer's height in feet? That's the distance to it. And then when it's not that, you're like, well, what's the true math? And if you don't have the true math, you're a hypocrite. Like, what's the argument?
My argument is simply, Lao Tzu was saying that the horizon, when he goes to the beach, the horizon is straight. Therefore, the radius of the Earth is debunked. So he's not using maths. He's saying the horizon is straight. Therefore, the radius is debunked. No maths
That was my
whatsoever.
argument.
And I said, yes, that's his argument. So it's a dumb argument. Yes.
Oh, the
Is it
other
dumb?
guy.
Yes.
So not
It's a
me.
flat Earth argument. So of course it's dumb because all flat Earth arguments are dumb by default. Now my argument
Can you
back to
please do
that
this with less
was,
insulting and
well,
less shit?
actually,
Like,
my argument back to
Lori,
that was, actually in the globe model, the horizon would be a straight line. So according to the standard that you have set, because the standard you set was no maths is needed. So according to the standard that he said that no maths is needed, his argument proves the globe because the globe says that the horizon should be a straight line. So according to the standard that he set,
Well, that
that's
is
a
kind of
globe
true.
argument. That's a
Let me tell
globe
you what.
proof.
Yeah, let me tell you why that's kind of true, right?
I am
And
piecing out
the
of
way it could
this.
be the way it
Yeah,
could be
this is
kind
just
of true.
we got to move on, man.
See, Locksmith, you lost the conversation. There you
Okay,
Yeah,
go.
well.
that's great. We got to move on to something real here.
Well, here I just want to I want to comment on why that could be kind of true, like why you don't need math. The reason that you wouldn't need math exactly is because math is dependent upon like geometry came first, and geometry is just folding the straight line in half without any math to it. It's just like, okay, sameness, right? So like you fold a straight line in half and you say, okay, the line is the same. It doesn't have any math involved, but that's the geometry. So you're like, all right, I have 180 degrees, I fold it in half, and you don't need any math. So like,
Well,
and then
right.
math is dependent upon geometry, and
Yeah, I
geometry doesn't
agree.
require math.
I agree, but thanks. The controversy was, can you prove the R
You
value
agree now when
3950?
Flat Earther says it, but
Bro, why
before
are
when
you
I say
talking?
it, that's
Why are you
stupid.
switching?
When
You
I
got to
say it,
calm
it's
down a
stupid.
little.
Now when Flat Earther says,
Yeah,
no,
let
I
Locksmith get
agree.
his chance to respond, Laura. You went on a whole thing, then no tanks went. Let's give Locksmith a chance, please.
Yeah, so the controversy was, can you provide proof of the 3959 miles, the R value, without math? I say you need math to prove 3959 mile R value. It's not really up for debate.
So why wasn't Mr. Lao Tzu providing any math?
Because he wasn't trying to prove a 3959 mile R value, right? So he doesn't
He
have
was
to,
trying to
he
disprove.
can prove
He
that
was trying to
logically.
disprove the value. So how can he disprove the value without having maths?
How can he
Yeah, yeah.
disprove?
See, you cannot even answer the question.
I didn't want to. I
I
cut him
win.
off. Sorry.
Well, I think he was just trying to disprove that it's a geometric horizon, like a firm geometric horizon, right? He wasn't saying it's not. And I don't know all his arguments that he made, but
Yeah,
my
sure.
point was you need
Okay.
math if you're trying to prove a 3959 mile R value.
Sure. I can actually steelman his argument. The steelman of his argument is he isn't actually even disproving the radius. The problem is, in order to steelman his argument, I'm going to have to say that he's stupid because he doesn't realize that that doesn't even have to do with the radius at all. If we're talking about, the globe, let's say the argument is the globe should have a curving horizon, but that has nothing to do with the radius. It's not about the radius. It's
Well, if you
false
claim
to
there's a
begin
G,
with, and it has nothing to do with the radius. So his argument isn't even to do with the radius, and he's too dumb to realize. And you're too dumb because you think that he's the greatest thing to happen on the face of the earth. So you don't realize that his arguments are dumb either.
well, if you're
What
going
if
to
you're
claim
dumb?
that
The
there's
whole
a
argument to
geometric
begin with isn't
horizon, you
to
have
do
to be
with
able
radius.
to, yeah, if you're going to claim there's a geometric horizon, you're going to have to be able to, prove where it's at. All right?
Not necessarily.
No? Okay.
Yeah, like
See,
in regards to
I
geometry, like
yeah.
if you could show that the shortest distance between the points on the surface lie within a plane, which is a straight line, then yeah, you've debunked that the Earth is a sphere. You don't need again the geometry, right? Like is prior to math. Geometry was first established, so that you can then derive math.
Yeah, and
Like
in a
one line,
similar way, I can use geometry to prove that on a globe you would actually see a straight horizon, because if we are looking at the horizon, all
Is
of the
Earth
points
there?
on the top of the sphere would drop exactly the same amount from eye level, because of course the curvature is the same amount to each point. So let's say I'm looking to the south, let's say 10 miles. The curvature will be dropping an X amount in 10 miles. Then I look north 10 miles. The curvature will drop to north, or the drop to north will be also 10 miles, the same amount. So if the drop from eye level is the same exact amount to all of the directions, then that has to mean it's a straight line around the observer.
Yeah, but
So
you
it's
can't have that on
I've
completely
actually
a
been
fallacious to
Lego
making
say
debug.
I've
it's
actually been
completely
making this
fallacious to say
argument.
that there should be a left to right curvature there.
I've actually been making this argument, and the Globers have been fighting me on it because I try to tell them that the horizon is not a plane; that's a flat part. The horizon, right? The horizon's
Yep.
the flat. Even when you go up, it's still flat. The flat part.
Yes, exactly.
Even
It's
however high
kind of
you go, it's
complicated.
always flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can prove
It's
it's
kind of
not a globe
complicated.
without math, but if you're gonna claim 3959 as the radius value, you need math to prove that.
Yeah, the radius value. Yeah, sure.
Christian, I don't know why
About
you're
the horizon, it's kind of complicated because to me it's actually interesting because on if you think about it one way, it's a straight line because it's a straight line wherever you look. But then it's also a curve because it curves around you. It meets itself behind you, so it does make a curve. And actually, on a globe, it would do that. Like, let's say you go into far out outer space, and I know you guys don't believe in that, but just for the sake of the argument, and you see the globe really, really, really far behind you, it would make a really visible curve, but it would actually still be just a curve around you. Because if you rotate around and
It's
if you point
visually
at the
curving
at the at the edge,
geometrically.
yes, if you
Geometrically
point at
flat.
the edge, yeah, if you point at the edge with your finger and you rotate, you don't need to move your finger, so it means that it still is the same distance from your eye level. So in a way, it curves, but it's also not curving in a way.
Well, I think this is the easiest debunk of a. I mean, this is what I think is like the easiest thing to debunk a globe, right? Is like this is like they presuppose you live on a globe. So imagine you're standing at the beach and you see boats go over the horizon. The horizon is claimed to be the geometric Earth curve, which is the sagitta, which is the highest point, right? So now you're pointing out. Just imagine you're standing at the beach and you're pointing out straight from your eye, just out into the horizon. They say that's the highest point. But then you just pivot yourself 5 degrees to the right and you point, and now that's the sagitta, right? And then you pivot 5 degrees to the right again. Now that's the highest point. And if that's the case, if all of those points are even, then that's just a plane. That's just flat. But observably, right? Like they'll say, hey, point, you'll stand at the beach, you'll point to the horizon, they'll say that's a sagitta, and that is lower on the left and right sides. But then you turn to the left or right 5 degrees, and it's not lower. It's the easiest globe debunk I've ever seen.
But it's none of the. I don't think you. The problem is you said that makes a plane, but that's not correct. The horizon is simply a circle, so it doesn't make a plane. It doesn't make a flat plane. It makes a flat circle, and
A circle
even
lies
on a
within a plane.
sphere, yeah, that's not necessarily incorrect. You can draw a circle on a basketball. And if you draw a circle on the top of a basketball, that's exactly the same distance from the center at all points. It will drop exactly the same amount from the center. So the circle on the horizon on the globe would simply be exactly the same distance to all directions that drops the same amount. And why can it be level? Because wouldn't we expect a curvature and a drop downwards on the horizon? Not necessarily. If it was a straight line and if it didn't curve around you, yes, on a straight line horizon that's just in front of you, we would expect a drop. But because it curves around you, we can expect that it is a straight line that has no drop.
I mean, I can imagine like a hula hoop. I know somebody will probably want to comment on that. I don't imagine that, right? But I can imagine a hula hoop over top of a basketball, and imagine I bring it's over top of it. It's like it's a foot above it, and as I bring it down, 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 and then the center of the hula hoop, if it was like a solid circle, intersects the basketball. That's it. Stop. That's the sagitta. That's it. You stop right there.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
is a good way to visualize it. Yes.
Yeah, but then the basketball would, in reference to the hula hoop, to the left and right, it would be a high. You'd have to go up higher to intersect the hula hoop.
I'm not sure I exactly understand what you're saying.
It's just just a dinner plate or whatever, like lower a dinner plate, lay it on top of a basketball. That's it.
It's for like a few days. So.
When you talk about alternative power plants, have you guys heard of the solid hydrogen?
No, we got a lot. Natural gas seems popular.
Well, they actually make it from natural gas. So what
You
they do
mean
is
making hydrogen by solar power?
um, well, the way that they were making it last I heard was the flares on gas refineries where they burn off all the methane. Well, you can through electrolysis, or I forget how they do it, but you can capture the hydrogen, and then what they do is they make hydrides are illegal outside of the nuclear energy industry, but potassium borohydride, so it's like a powder, and I don't know, but you can run that through a fuel cell through some sort of electrolysis process, and then you generate electricity from that hydrolysis. So those electric cars or electric trucks, they would have like a huge range. That would be like 2,000 kilometers.
That would be nice.
I don't think we'll ever see that technology publicly available because hydrides are highly illegal.
Yeah, I know they've built a
Explosive?
few.
Flammable? Why?
They're not flammable, but they're a very high energy density. So I'm sure you could do something with it, but the nuclear energy industry uses it for energy storage, at peak periods. But it's it's highly illegal. So if we ever do see it, it'll probably only be like a highly regulated trucking thing.
In the town I live in, they we store heat in sand for the winter, and then they take it from there. Interesting system.
If you're interested in the technology, you can look up a company. It's an Israeli company called Electric Global. So electric, but the last letter being a Q, Electric. They've got some cool videos on Vimeo showing the process or the chemistry behind it.
How do you pronounce it? Lavinia? What's the
Electric.
substance called that allows for it?
Potassium borohydride. So that they bind the hydrogen to potassium and boron, and it's very high energy density because obviously packing it as a solid is way more efficient than packing as a gas.
Ain't they using that in that cold fusion at the moment?
But what are they using in cold fusion?
The potassium boron thing.
Interesting. I mean, I haven't heard much about cold fusion for a while. I don't really remember what the process was behind it. I mean, if it's cold, how are you generating the electricity?
Trying
The
to find
last
out
I
why
heard
it's
about
so.
that, yeah, I think the last I heard about attempt to start a fusion reactor was the Chinese had it running for what was it, 18 minutes or so, but still a long way to go.
Yeah, so I was reading. I just did a couple search things for it. Seems like it's highly flammable because of the hydrogen.
Well, I don't know how they actually
That's
release
why
the
they
hydrogen,
cool it.
but I'm assuming that they would put it into water and then use hydrolysis. So I'm just guessing. I don't know how they actually release it. If it was in water, it would be safe. You would think.
They say it says because it can react with water and acids to release flammable hydrogen gas. So I
Yeah,
guess
so
if
there's
it,
a chemical reaction then that releases the hydrogen stored in it.
yeah, and then it goes boom.
And when you cool it, it doesn't go boom.
Oh, that'd be such a shame. Our best ability to store energy is just like a bomb waiting to happen.
Have you seen like in like meat smokers how you have those it's like a little screw that slowly feeds in the pellets?
I have no idea. I don't own one.
Well, you could have like a little hopper that like very slowly feeds it into water and then has it react on it. Yeah, I'm guessing there would be a lot of risk in it though. Hard to make safe.
Yeah, but if then again, if you figure like, all right, as long as you get the housing strong enough, you should be able to protect from anything too disastrous.